Okay, so I'm going to open recent line weights layout. So this is 8.5 by 11, and I have the line weights turned on. And Larry Belk and I were talking about what line weights to set things at, so that when you print them at 1/4 inch, they look good. And here's the default I have. I think this is Chief's default. The wall lines are at 25. But we didn't know, and I want to make sure that if this does get printed to paper, that it actually looks good, and also in PDF. But I don't really care for the sheetrock being visible. I know some people like Renee. He incorporates all the way across everything and shades it one color, and then dimensions to framing, which sinks his arrow inside the shaded wall area. So that's a technique, but typically I do all my drawing with main layer only selected. Let me just go here. So that way I'm dealing with framing, because framing is everything. When you're building something in the housing market, the residential wood framed market, framing is everything. And that's another thing just crossed my mind. Your overhang is to the outside of subfascia, not the outside of fascia. But some people think it's fascia because that's what Chief dimensions to, but that's not correct. Anyways, this is line styles, or line weights. And then I noticed on Chief Talk, there's actually a thread about this, which is kind of serendipitous, because Larry and I have been talking about this for a little while. And so what we did is we just drew this to be printed on 8.5 by 11 at 1/4 inch scale. So you can physically print it off right here. Ready? Yeah, that's me holding it in my hands. And then I can decide what sizes I want. And what I want to do is move this over here. I'm going to go into the wall layers. So here's what I'm thinking. I haven't done this yet. And I made the mistake one time of making a bunch of different wall types. And then when I went to save it as a template, I let all those checked boxes be checked, and then it removed all the different wall types because they were unused. So that was a little frustrating. But anyways, what I want to do is I want to create all the different wall types that I would possibly use in my world, plus some of the stuff that Larry's going to use, different brick and everything. But we were also experimenting with different wall height. Like you don't specify the height in here, but you could label it, 9 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot, whatever. And then in the actual shading area, you would have either a different color, or you could hatch it. And then for certain parts of your model, let's say it's a 2x6 wall. Hang on a second, let me get this out of the way. Let's say part of this wall is 10 feet high and part of this wall is 9 feet high. Well, you could pick the 10-foot wall labeled, and so for wherever it stops, you might have a hatch pattern that indicates in a legend that this is a taller wall. And over here, it's a different pattern, either a solid or some kind of hatch, that it's a different wall. And so you'd have a wall legend schedule. And that way you physically have two separate walls. You don't just have to annotate or draw a bounding box or whatever, these polylines or whatever. You're physically changing the wall, and all you're changing is its hatch ability. And then if you're able to create the ceiling taller, then the wall would physically go up that high. You're not able to just unless you drag the wall, but then you lose all that good BIM when you do that. So anyways, that was a thought. But then we got talking, and when I first started using schedules, I don't need that. When I started using schedules, I would keep them off to the side. So let me just do this. Let me show you real quick. I'm going to do a wall schedule. And there's probably only 2 wall types, and I used to keep the schedule like over here. And there it is. So it's reading 2 different types of walls because I made a copy of the first wall and I took the coloring out of it and I just left it as the label, comma, copy. But then if I want to send this to the layout page over here, what I have to do is make a copy of the viewport, I guess, if you want to call it that, or I don't remember what they call it in Chief, but anyways, see what I'm doing here? I'm making the viewport window bigger. And I know most everybody already knows this, but in case you're brand new to Chief, maybe this will help you. You end up having 2 separate, you can do one of 2 things. You can either locate everything in the model space to where you want it so that when you bring in your viewport, you have everything where you want it. But that gets tedious because you'll be jumping back and forth trying to move things in the model. Whereas now I can do this. And since this is kind of in the way, we'll just raise that up a little bit. And I can do a wall schedule. So there's that way of doing that, right? But I finally started trying to use CAD details, and it was just weird. I didn't understand, but my understanding now is CAD details go with the plan that you're working on. So I'm going to take this and go X, so it's gone. If we go back over here, it's gone. Now the layout window is still there. And it's still looking at that space in the model, but there's nothing there, so might as well delete that. And so it's still in my my copy paste memory. And if you go and open up CAD detail, we're going to create a new one. And CAD detail is just 2D lines and text. There's no 3D model in there, so it's just a place to put 2D dumb lines, really. There's no intelligence. And I'll do let me actually keep to my, well, I do have a wall schedule right there. Number 6, cancel. That's weird. Let me just open that up. Look at that. I've got a wall schedule. Now, why would it be reading 2 of both? Oh, I know. Okay. Cavity value, total length. So yeah, what it's doing, this wall schedule is reading this wall is longer than this wall, and this wall is longer than this wall. So it's got 1, 2 of the green ones and 1, 2 of the white ones. And that's what it's doing. So anyways, you're in CAD detail view. And you want to send this. Oh, I must have done this for framing. This is pretty cool because it's going to give the length. And I don't see it giving the height. But I'll look into that. So anyways, from here, you just go up to right here. And you send a layout. Just like you would anything in your plan view. And depending on the size of text that you have your schedule set up to, that will determine what scale you send it. And so I believe this is 4.5 inches tall. So if I do 1/4 inch scale and hit OK, there it is. And I don't think I'm going to be able to fit it on this itty bitty little page. It's not going to work. So let me go here and we're just going to move these up a little bit. See if I can buy myself a little more real estate. Oh, you know what I could do too? I could move this down here. And then that would mean I could do this. Oh, I got a dog coming in to visit me right now. What's up, Maple? So this would be how you would do it. Now this is too wide because a lot of these titles, that's another thing we can check really quick. You double click, go in here, and you can change the name of these. So Let's do that 2D on that one. And then what are these really long ones? I don't even have a call out symbol. So how about we just remove that one and rename this one R. And I don't believe I have comments. Let's see. There's no comments. There's no label. There's no, and I don't need a number. So we can just go remove, remove, remove. Boom. Let's go with that. And then we'll come back to the layout and see how the layout window or the viewport stayed where it was. Now we got room to fit it in here. Okay, so there you go. And then as you update things like, I don't know, let's watch this. We're going to watch over here, and I'm going to make this, well, hold on. Let's do this. Let's put split screen so we can see all this. All right. There's the layout. And here's the actual plan view. And I'm going to move the wall to the left. And if you keep an eye on right over here, the 192 should get smaller by an inch each time I do a left arrow on this wall. So let's go. Yep. See how it's doing that? I wonder what I have underneath there. I wonder what that is. It's been a while. Let me go see what that is. What does it say at the bottom? CAD. Uh-oh. The dogs are going to visit the neighbor who's standing at the front gate with his dog. What is that? Yep. Okay. I don't know what that was, but I've got CAD lines here. There we go. 14.1. Let's take it down to 14.0. I want to know what these CAD lines are. That might be a whole different experiment. I might have been using this polyline space area square footage thing that Larry was working on. Anyways, so that's how that works. This now lives up in a CAD detail. Let me close out of this, go back here, double click this. Now we're back. So the CAD detail is just a 2D area, uncluttered, and you send to layout by this same layout tool. And so you have the options of either having it in a CAD detail or having it here on your plan view. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to see if I can paste it back into the plan view because that's something Larry said it didn't work. Yeah, sure it does. It works. So if you didn't like that, you could delete it. And now it's in your plan view. And now you have to either place it, like you could do this. You could place it right where you think it needs to go. If that's how your workflow is, where you want to actually have everything right here on your plan view. This takes more work, in my opinion, just because if you all of a sudden have to move something, you got to move a lot of stuff, and then you got to go back to your layout and make sure that it looks right. See how I've got two of these? One of these is coming from the CAD detail. So I'm going to delete that one. And then one of them is part of the plan, and so now I got to make the viewport bigger. So now this one viewport has everything in it because that's how it's laid out in the plan view. But as you've seen here, I've went through and started having my template file have all these different schedules ready to go. And, oh, hey, area, what is this? This might be good. Yeah. Okay. So let me show you what this does. This is Larry's custom macro thing to put on page 0. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to page 0. And I'm going to send this to layout. I don't remember if it was 1/4 inch. I might. Let's just send it. It looks like it is. Okay, so this will be on page 0. It's a little big, but this is, remember, this is 8.5 by 11, so that's why it looks big. And what this is doing is reading these square polylines over here. And this is going to look crazy in layout because as soon as I go to page 1, all this stuff is in the way. So this is where, yeah, being on a little itty bitty piece of paper causes a problem. But here's layout, and let's just look at, I'll just adjust one of these. I'll make these both like near 4 square feet. So you go here, basement, start dragging it. There's 4.1. And what you do with this is you don't just randomly drag it. You would snap it all the way around your plan view. And then this reads the actual square footage. Let's try that. So 401 and 394. And so it rounds off to the like 0.01 becomes 4. And 0.39 or 3.9. And then it does the math. So this is really cool because when I used to frame houses, this information, not this in depth, but it was always on the first or second page of a set of plans. And because framers were quick and lazy, we would just tell the builder what our square footage was. We'd look at the plan. We'd see how much uncovered or unconditioned space, like porches and garages, we still have to do them, but they only paid for heated space. And so we needed to know what was that total conditioned heated space, and then throw them a number per square foot. It's kind of a cowboy way of doing it, but that's how it was done. And I can't find how to do this. So now Larry developed this, and so it's perfect because I can stick this on my page 1, and all this information is right there for the customer. But what you have to do is you have to trace around. You have to go and drag these over the different plan views and trace them around, and then they each have their own layer, so you can turn them on and off. But that's how to get really accurate square footage. And Larry had to do that to account for brick ledge, because some builders were wanting not to have to show dimensions to brick ledge or areas so that the framers don't bid wrong. I don't know, it's kind of complicated, but he got a pretty good solution. So there you go. This video got a little long. It started off with line weights. It transitioned into schedules being put in right here, CAD detail, and then opening the CAD detail. Let's try this. See what this one does. Look at this. We made one of these, a table that shows those same little boxes that we have on the side. It actually does all this, and then it gives you totals too. So you can have I would rename this. I wouldn't call it polyline area schedule, but you could call it square footage, or let's see. Yeah, so it's not heated. It's not just heated. I mean, it's got garage in it and stuff, parking pad. So this could be, what is that called? FAR, I think. It's just another way to track your square footages for your permit office. Boom. I think we're done. I'm now scratching my head.